Hello, everyone. Blue Star Saber here with,
MangaReader.
and possibly a Lucky Chi in the future, but we have to wait
Yeah.
if we can get back or not, or let's see. But I left him a link. But yes, we're here to discuss not one, but two My Hero Academia chapters.
Two.
Yep. Chapters 356 and 357, which I have, let's see, subtitled as Endeavor's Resolve, though this could also be his origins, really, and The Wounded, but well, that's not the actual names. After all, chapter 356 is regarding the enemy, and let's see, 357 is about the wounded hero or something, but yeah. But yeah, this is pretty much the two chapters following off from the last podcast we had, which we did have Lucky Chi in, which we had the perfect joke about him being an extra. In which, let's see, Tokoyami and Jira were helping to fight against All for One, and with allowing Hawks to get the opening to slash him with his feather swords thing, breaking his mask. And we'll see how the fight is resolved at, let's see, with these two chapters. But yeah, following off after the, let's see, Hawks' slash, let's see, I'm trying to remember. Earphone Jack ends up telling Tokiyama and Dark Shadow, telling them that she'll catch up with them later, giving them their jacket, I believe, to, I think to help float or something. Anyway, she jumps off them and says that she'll leave, the two of them to, probably help Hawks with Tokoyama realizing that Hawks lacks any power to deliver a decisive killing blow. So he ends up using his, let's see, Dark Shadow move to Witsi, I believe, which, with the help of, I think, Jiro's jacket, to create something called Abysso Black Body, Ragnarok, a giant Dark Shadow fist, if you will. Always coming to the punches, wouldn't you say, when it comes to superheroes? But yeah, with let's see, All for One's Shattered Mask and all that stuff. It attempts to do, let's see, I believe he ends up doing a Fleeting Blow Smash, which I think actually does hit, let's see, All for One, doing more damage to the mask. With Hawks commenting how All for One thought they were just buying time for them, but talks about how even pesting Gantz can be a pain in the butt. As All for One's mask is being completely destroyed. With All for One thinking, even though he should be able to dodge all this stuff, his awareness has been delayed. Let's see, and he talks about, and he goes on about all the other sensory quirks that he has stolen over years, ever since losing most of his senses in his first battle against All Might. So as a result, he should be more aware of the world around him and all that stuff. But he thinks to himself that, let's see, what happened to the interference didn't come from the girl's purposeful sound attack. The real cause was like his own quirk's rebellion, as he thinks he's trying to rationalize what's going on. He's starting to wonder if perhaps his fake copy of his own quirk, due to being a weakened version, has allowed the quirks to do a more open rebellion, if you will, and allows his authority over them to be being weakened. But yeah. Anyway, Hawks is determined to try and now finish the final blow against him. But I'm not sure if he ends up seeing an image inside his head, or this is just inside All for One's head, but we see like a sort of gratuitous form of All for One starting to devour the beings or quirks inside him and all that stuff. As he shouts out in anger about everyone being a bunch of wretched pests, and we get all those black liners, spike things that usually come out of him.
Damn.
Which, from the looks of things, they seem to be also repairing his mask and all that stuff, as well as wounding our heroes, or at least Hawks. No, not actually Hawks. But revealed that, let's see, in order to protect the three heroes, Endeavor has taken the blunt of like the attack. With All For One saying how that I'm not sure if that dodgedness has left you twisted and it's All For One saying how it's left him twisted and disfigured. But anyway, let's see, as Endeavor has finally come back to the fight, and just as he's charging in, we appear to be getting a flashback to Endeavor's origins. Well, actually, at first more of like an inside his mind thing, as we see a young Endeavor who is wearing a UA uniform. Now, granted, I have to admit, he probably looks like a third year, because he looks like a full-grown adult even as a teenager. With the young self of Endeavor coming down to a weakened, kneeling version, saying about how he's even weaker now, as he goes on about all the things that he's trying to done of position, atonement, mistakes, and responsibility. All the things that Endeavor's been trying to do over the course of the saga. Comments about how it's all exposed the weakness that's always been in front of him and all that stuff. As to the young serf, it's pitiful to look at how much of a loser you are. As he tells to himself that he'll never be a superhero, NG, and tells him to go back to his origin about when we find out when he was young, his father had attempted to save a girl from some menace or something. But both the father and the girl ended up as a corpse, and he sees them being dragged away right before his eyes, and then thinks back to the envy he had towards more powerful heroes like All Might, and then we see during his school days, I think, which is probably My Hero Academia. UA.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, because he's wearing a UA uniform. Apparently, we learned that the reason why he called himself Endeavor, as in hard work, was showing his maniacal nature or something. About how he had to keep the ugliness from inside him and all that stuff. At this point, Endeavor gets annoyed by the young Endeavor and starts grabbing him by the throat, with him saying how he'll never be like All Might or Deku, because all he's ever done is battle the weakness within. So a young version of him says, don't even dwell on some notion of rebirthing and all that stuff, become a new person. As he's saying to keep on cursing the true enemy that is weakness, if you will, as we see Endeavor burning his young self. And says that's the only thing that has kept him. His Endeavor in real life is now preparing a burning fist and is punching All For One. Well, he seems to agree that with his statements that, okay, yeah, I'm dodged, sure. Which is why he says as long as he's alive, he'll never take solace in doing a job well done. As he declares that putting an end to this fight is his duty, and that ends the chapter. So what did you make of this chapter, MangaReader?
I don't know. It felt kind of short.
Yeah, I tend to notice that the action chapters do tend to feel a bit kind of short.
I'm guessing it's because there's just not as much words going on, but I mean, I guess it makes sense for Endeavor to finally have a semi backstory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's interesting that we learn that, okay, his father, well, we don't know if his father was actually a hero or not, but he attempted to try and help this little girl who was being attacked by someone, and they both ended up being killed.
Yeah.
As a result, it seems that that has driven him to try and become strong and not weak, which seems to have based on his philosophy of like being a hero up to a certain point until he finally became the number one by default.
Yep.
Which obviously, let's see, of course, had very negative effects on his life and all that stuff. But I do find it interesting how, let's see, the young version of himself is sort of like how he'll never be a hero. He'll never be like All Might and Deku, bearers of the one for all and all that stuff, true heroes in the making, if you will. But he just seems to accept that's going to be the case. That he won't have some grand rebirth. And not many people are probably going to forgive him and all that stuff. So he'll just make sure he ends this fight and all that stuff.
Yep.
But of course, there's some other things that are to take note of this chapter. Besides, of course, the Endeavor backstory. There's also the stuff with like All for One, as he's starting to trying to figure out what is going on with him, and it seems in his mind is that due to the weakened quirk, due to the fact that this is like a copy version of his original quirk, since the original one is actually with Shigaraki.
Yeah. Yeah, this body isn't really. I mean, he's still alive, even though this body alone is kind of just a shell of his former self.
Yeah. So as a result, let's see, the quirks that he's stolen throughout the years have allowed to become a lot more rebellious, though. It seems when he gets very desperate enough, and perhaps even a bit grotesque. I'm not sure if the image of him eating like those other beings with quirks inside him. I'm not sure if that's him actually destroying the quirks within him or not, because like I do recall that, or just him just taking back command, or just eating the spirits of the people in the quirk or something. I guess it could be open to interpretation, but I do know that. Let's see, due to one of the weaknesses of All for One is the fact that he can't actually destroy the quirks within him. He can only transfer them away.
Right.
So this is probably just him trying to take control or something.
Insert his whatever that hockey from One Piece is.
Uh-huh.
Certain dominance.
Yeah, so he's pretty much, which allows him, but desperate enough allows him to do like a very big defense mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the panel in which he tries to bring back the mask and put itself together.
Yeah, it looks like it's back together, but
all broken.
Looks like it's trying to glue itself too. So
yeah. Who knows? Maybe All for One has stolen
a gluing quirk.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a tape quirk. So yeah, there could be.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I can't but wonder if perhaps maybe Koei is perhaps making a reference to the rise of Skywalker, in which Kylo Ren repairs his broken mask.
Well, maybe, but yeah, Endeavor just breaks it anyway. So
yeah. But it's probably just like a last but desperate attempt to try and keep himself alive, since his body cannot survive without life support.
Yep. Well, it doesn't seem like it's a life. Well, maybe it is a life support system, but they're just talking about now that the mask is gone, they can like kill him in one full swoop. So maybe I don't know. Maybe they thought that it amplified his quirks or some shit.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. My understanding was that the mask was like a protective shield for his head or something.
Could be.
But yeah, I do like how let's see. Granted, it's a bit cliche, but Tokiyami is forming a giant fist with his dark shadow.
Yeah.
And I think getting help from I think I do like how Jiro's given him help with this, as I think Tokiyami.
She put her coat so Tokiyami could take his coat off.
Yeah. I do like how they're doing like a helping hand and a teamwork there.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. Never really saw that team up in the first place.
Yeah. I suppose that is one of the potentials of UA is that with a class like let's say class 1A is that you can always have all these interesting team ups if the mangaka wanted to do them and all that stuff.
Yeah. Everyone else is kind of still doing the team. Well, who knows if we see Pinky and Red Riot, they haven't really done anything together since really ever.
Well, okay. That's sorry, that was just
Oh yeah, it was Chi.
Yeah,
or you.
Yeah, I think it's just about to hop on and all that stuff.
Cool. You can join the second one then, I guess.
Yeah, discussing the second chapter and all that stuff, but yeah.
He missed the first one. Oh well.
Yeah. Well, I'll just quickly ask his thoughts and all that stuff when he pops up.
So no, and yes, Endeavor's arm was not ripped off till now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that is. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's like I must admit, it does look like Endeavor's arm has completely.
Well, it's 100% off now. You can tell.
Yeah, I can actually not tell. It's like after so much. Let's see.
He read all our comments from beforehand, thinking, "Oh, his arm got ripped off." No, this time it's this one's off now.
Yeah. Let's see. We might not have gotten our first death, but we've gotten our first maim of the war.
Yeah, first maim. So yeah, now he's what he's doing is he's apparently being a pyrokinetic and being able to form a fist in the form of fire.
Hello.
Didn't know he could pyro crap, but
Yeah.
Pyrokinesis.
Yep.
Pyrokinesis.
Yeah, and in case you're just wondering, Luckychi, we've just finished the first chapter. We're doing this discussion and just giving our thoughts and all that stuff. Chapter 356.
Just don't be here and you can start the second one.
Let's see, but before that, how about you give your quick thoughts on the chapter?
Oh shit, my door just opened itself.
Maybe you're haunted. Maybe you're haunted. But,
I'm haunted.
Maybe it's just the curse of blue.
Oi. Silence.
Putting an end to this is my duty.
Yeah. Okay, extra. Missy, make your thoughts known.
Yeah, it's better to be an extra than cursed. Anyway, my thoughts aside, it was an interesting chapter, I'll say, to keep it short.
Holy crap.
I mean, for the most part, it was just what Endeavor versus All Might, or not All Might, All for One.
Yes. Yeah, we end up learning his origins, why he ended up becoming the hero he was, and all that stuff, how he became envious of others, and how he's probably realized that he'll never be like All Might and Deku, but he'll carry on with his duty and stop the bad guy. Also, a little nice team up with Jiro and Tokiyami. Yes.
Yeah, that was like the big highlight of the chapter.
I always remember Tokoyami because it's the name of a food.
Yeah, right.
Japanese, they love, let's see, shonen manga, they love naming characters after food.
It has nothing to do with birds or shadows either, so it's kind of weird.
Maybe you're supposed to get a food-based quirk originally, but then decide that, shower powers are cooler.
It could be.
Yeah.
And decide, heck, I'll change the name. Overall, I think I'd give this chapter probably around a 7 to 8 out of 10. I mean, it's not too much, but it's got some interesting things about all for all for one trying to figure out what's wrong with him, and we've got like pretty much Endeavor's backstory, if you will, or origins, and his resolve to try and stop the villains. So go on.
I was just gonna say, for the record, it's Tokoyaki, but
Tokoyaki.
Tokoyami. Tokoyami's the name. Tokoyaki's the food.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Which is octopus, but which is why I'm saying, play on words or not. It's just funny. It's like, oh, it's neither a bird nor a shadow. That's an octopus.
That's Tokoyami has like a dark shadow octopus mode.
Oh yeah, octopus.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, for me, I think this chapter is like a 7 to 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume that you probably both have similar feelings.
Well, it's a good plus, which is like 7.5 out of 10 for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, 10, I guess.
Out of 10?
Wait, out of 10? I meant to say 8 out of 10. My bad.
Okay.
10, I guess.
I was like, wow, that's a
low casual 10.
Yeah.
It's just a mid 10, that's all.
Because I'm pretty certain you would not, knowing your history of reviewing chapters, you would not give this quick one a 10. It's only
it could be a 10 in the anime.
That is true.
It could be a 10 in the anime, but yeah, manga wise, I think really with this, whatever this is, and this could be the biggest arc. I have no idea. They'll probably split. The fandom will probably split it up based on battles into small arcs, like usual. So the Shoto versus Dabi fight will probably be its own arc.
Fair enough.
What do you mean, fair enough? That's how they seem to do it. I don't know.
Oh, really? Is that how fans do that? Do those?
I don't know.
Maybe.
How Chi does it is he looks at freaking Hero Wikipedia, and they seem to, for whatever reason, because Koei doesn't actually define arcs.
Right.
As far as I can recall, the only manga that I knew that never really did arcs was Full Metal Alchemist.
Well, okay.
Maybe in Koei's mind, it's the same as the Naruto, where it was, just based on whatever the current event was the arc.
Uh-huh.
I think the only one that kind of had an idea was... Well, no, One Piece kind of did it too. Well, they did now. If you get the volumes, it's like labeled a certain arc or event.
Yeah. Wando arc or Wando Island or whatever.
Wano arc.
Yeah.
And then there's Fairy Tail with Hero when it came to Tartarus. So yeah, certain manga could do in or structuring arcs a particular way.
Anyway,
I was gonna just say, yeah, as a whole, the story flows better once you start reading it instead of doing week by week. But as a week by week review, you end up having to base it off of what you felt like that reading section was.
Imagine reading Dressrosa weekly. Actually, I remember that. That was kind of...
yeah. As a result, it ended up being one of the most infamous One Piece arcs of all time, if not the most infamous.
Really? I heard it was that in Fishman Island.
Well, let's see. You have not. Then I take it you have not watched Grand Line Review's documentary.
Ah, Blue Star getting influenced by people.
No. I'm not being. Let's see. No, I'm sorry. Let's see. I'm saying that. Let's see. That documentary shows so many people complaining about quite a lot of things in Dressrosa.
I'm aware.
Yep.
Let's see, being the pacing, let's see some of the characters, blah blah blah, stuff like that. Let's see. Anyway, just probably watch it, and you would probably see what some people had criticism with the Rebecca. Let's see, with just Dressrosa. The most common thing was the Rebecca flashback in the anime being shown 46 times.
Ladies and gentlemen, Blue Star just admitted he is influenced by people.
No, I am not saying that's my influence. And for the record, I had issues with Dressrosa before everyone else.
I know. I'm just picking on you.
But yeah. But anyway, people, let's see. On to the actual next chapter. Chapter 357. Wounded Hero, Burning Bright and True. In which we follow off from the last chapter where we see All For One being, let's see, feeling the full impact of the punch and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, realizing that he's actually in actual danger and all that stuff. He's never expected it. Let's see, that the likes of Endeavor's making him relive like the most painful and miserable day of his life, which I assume was his last, let's see, either his first fight against All Might or his last one. As he comes to think about, as we see with like thinking about how wounded heroes are always the scariest, as we see Endeavor with like preparing a flaming fist, with his now, let's see, cut off hand, but using the fire to create a new arm and fist, if you will. Which is pretty cool to think about, actually.
It is.
As he ends up charging right up to Endeavor's, All For One face to face, and though granted Endeavor's being helped by Hawks' feathers like last time, as Endeavor ends up using the move Vanishing Jet Burn, creating a massive fire fist that punches All For One down to the ground. Though with many of the other heroes being shot like this, who are continuing from their battle against the villains down there, wondering why he's bringing All For One down to the ground, since the plan was to keep him fighting in the air anyway. With Hawks wondering why he hasn't used Prominence Burn yet. Let's see him saying, no, we haven't seen him go on defensive and all that stuff. And then saying that's not a move he can fire off multiple times. So he's got to physically rip apart his defenses to be sure that the big one hits the mark and all that stuff. With Hawks thinking that, okay, so Endeavor's keeping his head cool now, but Endeavor's saying no, he can't hold back his rage and all that stuff. So as he prepares charging through, but anyway, we end up seeing that Kanami, okay, the wood hero.
Kamui?
Yeah, Kamui. We end up finally learning that he is also on this battlefield and realizes that with All For One there, that Endeavor's about to make a massive flame attack and tells everyone to retreat, even grabbing another hero who was saying, why don't we just rush him and all that stuff. But they all just managed to barely dodge Endeavor's flame attack, and I think some of the villains who were fighting have been damaged from the flames. As, let's see, Endeavor comes to grab, All For One, trying to burn him, with Kanami saying, above all else, Endeavor's coming through and all that stuff. As Endeavor's attempting to burn him, and just dragging him with his fire. And this is not looking good for All For One, as due to the, as he calls the swarming Gants cracking his mask, and his body won't be able to move as much as possible. Now All For One thinks that this range Endeavor's at his reach, so he's going to try and steal the quirk. However, Endeavor uses Heat Beam Flame Eyes, or just Heat Beam Eyes, if you will, to burn All For One's hand. Which I have to admit, I did not know that Endeavor could do that. with his
He's
flame.
shown a lot of abilities he's never shown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is plot convenience or,
Or he could always do them, but
It could be a mix of both.
or it's just freaking adrenaline.
mhm. But yeah. Again, I guess let's see. And then again, I guess there is a rule of shonen that always new abilities must be introduced in every new fight, even if it's just a variant of the same move.
It's debatable. Well,
Unless you're
That's-
Ichigo, then
Yeah.
the Get to Go
And-
10 show ain't no new variant.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is probably one of the reasons why Bleach ends up having every other character fight for like 6 chapters in a row.
well, there's
Yeah.
also Naruto too. I mean, okay, granted, yeah, you could say Rasengan Shuriken and all that, but it's still technically a Rasengan of sorts, so it's not like it's.
That's why I said
It's-
variant. Let's see, because Naruto ends up doing Rasengan, it's Giant Rasengan,
I know,
Rasengan
that's
Universe, Mini Rasen Shuriken, Double Rasengan, let's see, Rasengan, Tailed Beast Bomb, blah, blah, blah.
That was
And-
kind of the point I was making, Blue.
Yeah, anyway.
Massive Rasengan Mega Barrage.
Tornado Rasengan. I forgot about Tornado Rasengan, actually.
Yes.
He's got multiple variants of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Somehow it's a multi-purpose attack, despite just being a tracker sphere.
Yep.
But Sasuke can only use one variant of the Chidori, unless he has a sword with him. Then he can somehow make that a lightning blade. But
Let's see. He can do Chidori, Fire Style. He's got. variants.
well, yeah, Sasuke's got but I'm just saying his Chidori doesn't have multiple variants that he can use. He's got like what three attacks from Chidori.
Yeah.
Lightning Spear.
Yes, let's see. Sasuke gets all the variety of powers due to Kishimoto's favoritism and Uchiha BS.
Well, hey, I'll say
He
this
hasn't really shown that many different variant attacks.
Anyway,
I mean, all Rinnegan users use the same attacks. Almighty Push.
I mean, I'll say this at the very least. Kishi's being honest that he's at least
Almighty
prefers
Push.
Sasuke.
speak
Too
up.
bad no one ever seemed to use the Soul one.
That's true.
Only Pain used the Soul Path. Sasuke
Yeah,
never
we
used the
didn't know
Soul
that.
Path.
Well, I didn't know that Obito could have used it on Yamato, but that would end up killing him, so that's why he didn't use it.
Yeah. Could have used the Soul Path on Madara, but didn't.
Anyway, moving back to the actual chapter, as Endeavor, let's see, uses his heat beams to burn off one's hands. As he comments about how those hands have ruined so many people's futures, with him saying, yeah, you should know a thing or two about that.
Yeah.
Let's see, Endeavor accepts the burn. Thinking back about his mistakes, starting from Toya, led to so many other people's lives being ruined and all that stuff due to his actions. Thinking about how the past will never truly die, and even though like the rage, resentment, and even penance are wound together towards the future. As we then, as we see a panel of like Jiro and Tokoyami, which in the background, witnessing like Endeavor's fight from far off. As to emphasize that Endeavor's pointing about the future is for the path of the young heroes and all that stuff. And so many choices for them. As he thinks back to Shoto when he was helping some kids with with his fire abilities. And decides that he must win this so that the kids of the future won't have to see, so that the path that they walk won't be burdened by his past. As we seem to get a glimpse of like everyone from quite a few of the students from UA, which possibly older, or at least with the way Shoto's being drawn. I'm not sure about the others because they're a bit more far in the background.
I'll say it's like them when they're graduating. I would say it doesn't look like they're like that far off from where they're currently at.
Though it's interesting that Midoriya's costume, I can't tell if that's like
It's a cape.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's got like Gran Torino's cape, but I'm just wondering if that's a new get-up or is that a UA costume?
Who knows? It might be the UA uniform at that point.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
anyway.
his green jumpsuit is just a different variant color of the UA uniform.
That's what it is, honestly.
Uh-huh. Well, anyway. Let's see. So, Endeavor vows that he'll keep paying his penance for what he's done. Let's see. He'll win this fight so he can keep an eye on Tora, so that he can make sure he has a better future. As All For One pleads, as Endeavor says, he'll keep raging against himself as he finally ends up using his prominence burn to burn All For One. And you can see that he's been burned to a crisp, and it's been confirmed that he doesn't have the hyper regeneration ability. And even if he did, and he was keeping a secret, without a bodies like Shigaraki's, he's still a dead man. But Hawks warns Endeavor to get away from him and all that stuff. As All For One starts to talk, saying that you really think that he'd end up coming here with, in this big fight without empty-handed and all that stuff. Or the big final empty-handed. As this shocks Endeavor, as he talks about how his body has already served its purpose and it was destined to be Skritzy tossed aside anyway. He decided to why not try something else out. As we then cut to a panel with Eri, with little Eri, and those capsules of with her ability in. So I'm not sure if this is just Eri currently where she is right now, just thinking about, or just the image to represent that All For One has done something with Eri's ability. All that stuff. As he ends up thinking to himself about how villains are also scariest when wounded, as he tells Endeavor that heroes don't have a monopoly on to be big sacrificial moments, As we end seeing like his face as he ends up smiling, and we see a piece of his ear still, and we finally see one of his eye sockets popping out as his body turns to crust in a rather twisted like smile.
Long live All For One. Oh wait, sorry. wrong speech.
Yeah. What the hell is happening?
Yeah, as the first user, let's say All For One's brother, Inonchi or something, or
I'll look it up. I sense a disturbance in the force. It's this exact reaction he has.
Okay, what's his name then, Luckychi?
Yoichi.
Fair enough. Yoichi ends up sensing something is wrong as he tells Midoriya. Midoriya asks him what it is, but he says, I've got a bad feeling about this, so yes, a Star Wars line. In which, funny enough, I was actually commenting about how Endeavor's mask that was cracked and then rebuilt from the last chapter ended up reminding me of Rise of Skywalker. You hear that, Luckychi? My Hero Academia might have just did a Rise of Skywalker reference.
Or it could have just been an Obi-Wan Kenobi finale reference, too.
Well, that episode only just came out a week ago.
You never know.
I think that's a bit of a stretch.
I don't know, man. The Japanese have their way. Just saying.
Yeah, I don't even think they'll be able to get that. I don't think they get episodes earlier than us when it comes to Western media. They get their stuff before we do. We get our stuff before they do, probably. That's how it probably works. But anyway, going to the actual main thing, let's see, as the Yoichi, or the first user, ends up saying he has a bad feeling about this. Midoriya ends up looking onto the sky as like something is coming straight towards him, as you wonder what that is, ending the chapter. So, guys, overall thoughts?
Well, it's been a while since we've seen Deku, so it's cool seeing Deku again.
Yeah, it's one of
I'm
those
curious
things
if that means he's in the next chapter or not.
That's true.
yeah, it means the next chapter will be focused on him, which is, let's see, probably been a while, because, well, as we know from previous war arcs, they always tend to get the main character away for a while, so you can see some of the other characters do their fights before they get, of course, the focus.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, but yeah. But anyway, the main highlight, of course, is the conclusion of the Endeavor versus All for One fight. So I have to admit, were you expecting this outcome, or?
I had a feeling All for One had something up his sleeve. Because I was like, okay, you could take him out, but at the same time, I'm thinking, this guy's been around for decades.
Area
Eons.
remains the blessing and the curse of this series.
Yep.
Let's see. Let's see. He makes an. He makes. He has. Let's see. He makes a Eisen run for his money about the villain with the plan, as some people might say.
Aizen, Yuha,
Well,
Obito, Madara. There's a shit ton of people you can reference with this.
I'd probably say more of Eisen. Let's see. Eisen's probably more infamously known for this. Let's say the others. But yes, let's see. All for One. It seems had another. It seems that let's see. This chapter confirmed that All for One had another plan. As okay, he knows his body is pretty much toast at some point. So it seems like, besides having Shigaraki being,
I think because we saw that panel of Eri, okay, you could say it's coincidence, but I kind of wonder if he's alluding to the fact that there's something related to Eri that's going to ensure his survival.
well, given the fact that we also got those drug capsule things that they've stolen from, let's see, Alpha Hall and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the Dark has not just, let's see, it seems like the Dark has just found another. It seems like the Dark's work on them seems to have gone another part of the plan besides just disabling. Let's see,
Quirks, yeah.
Lux, and for the main part, the only thing, let's see, from the looks of things, back in the Paranormal Liberation War arc, we just seem to think that they would only be used against, let's see, Ayazawa, and that would be it. But no, it seems like they're actually been for a much more bigger purpose.
I thought he used the last bullet on Aizawa. This would be a plot inconsistency.
I was about to say that too.
Well,
Because I thought he didn't get a chance to have the doctor analyze those damn things. He was going to use it and then didn't, and then he had no choice but to use it on Aizawa to escape.
Let's see, if I had to guess, it seems like the Doctor might have either stored the Dirtsy backup data somewhere, and All for One has gotten a hold of it and has now used it for what it is that he's planning now. That's my biggest guess.
Could be, but now that I'm also thinking about it, now that Eri has control of her powers, and we already saw that Lemillion got his powers back, this can't be the standard, we're just going to steal your quirk situation.
Nope.
So this is clearly something else. I don't know if it's a sacrificial bomb thing or whatever, or what. Or maybe, as the comment sections on Shonen Jump are saying, some people think that All for One is rewinding time to go back to his more youthful state.
So
That's a possibility too.
I don't know how that would work, as I don't know why that would be a sacrifice, but oh well.
Well, if that's the case, why would his original body be burnt to a crisp then?
Well, yeah, first off, he wouldn't have really cared because he said this body was useless anyway, but who knows?
Unless that was the trigger he was waiting for. That's the only thing I could come up with. It's a weird thing, but you know.
Mm-hmm. But yes, clearly, whatever it is that All for One is planning, it's coming towards Midoriya, and there seems to be multiple versions of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but clearly he has done something with clearly he still. It seems like clearly he had some secret stash of probably Ares Bitsy bullet drug quirk thing, and has used it for whatever it is for the next stage of his plan. And it's clearly to probably some way to have his conscience and like perhaps another body besides Witty possibly trying to take over Shigaraki's in the future and all that stuff. So yeah, All for One has another clear plan and all that stuff, and once again showing himself to be another Aizen. Though granted, we have to probably wait until the next chapter to get the confirmation, and let's see whether or not this makes sense, or this is like, okay, this is becoming a stretch.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Anyway, but yeah. But anyway, let's cut into like mostly the main fight. I do like how the fact that during this fight, All for One is feeling the same fear against All Might when he fights him, but this time against Endeavor with like just about how think about how wounded heroes are always the scariest. As I really have to admit, I think my favorite page is like Endeavor just being all wounded and just preparing a flame fist and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, fun fact, Deku, it's only just been 9 chapters since Deku's been out of the picture, so...
Well, that's nice to know. It seems that we have an entire volume's worth of chapters without Deku.
Mm-hmm.
Which I have to admit was half the time in which we were absent for Naruto for like a volume's worth during the Great Ninja War, but when he was inside the cave. But anyway, moving on. I do like how we also have Hawks. As a throwback to their last fight, again, their first team up against like the higher Nomu.
That was pretty cool.
It has like feathers to like end up helping. And we also learn a little bit of the strategy for the heroes here, where we see Konami of where Endeavor was supposed to keep, All for One fighting while they take all the mooches on the ground. And Konami, being the smart hero he is, realizes that, okay, we gotta get out of here before Endeavor burns the whole place. So there's that. But yeah, one thing I do like to note is that Tokiyami has caught Jiro after she jumped off him for the last chapter. So there's stuff like that. And I do like how, okay, something's wrong with, okay, it seems we're having some technical difficulties with MangaReader saying the device is not connected. Let's see, so, let's see. There we go.
It just reset.
Okay.
I don't know why I did it. It just did. I don't know why.
But yeah.
I'm back, guys.
That's good to hear.
I'm alive.
Yeah.
I did.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
To quote Rafiki, he's alive?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, I'm just about to. I do like how All for One does attempt to try and steal Endeavor's quirk, but he's prepared for it. Yeah. And whether or not, the Heat Beam Eyes is an ass pull or not, but it's like cool, a new ability, and it's not just a fist. It's Cyclops is I guess Koei must be an X-Men fan as well, besides being a Spider-Man fan.
Yeah, he must be an all superheroes fan, but yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I'm saying yes too much. All right, fine, I get it.
Yeah.
So I do like how Endeavor. And Margarita has left again.
Quick, someone get the Frankenstein machine going.
Let's see. Relax, I'm just going to check on. Let's see. let's see, what happened now?
It's the way of the Blue Star.
Ah, wait, he's back.
Okay, I'm never leaving the page then at this point. I don't know why it keeps doing that. So I'm just gonna sit still, and if it boots me the third time, then just don't expect me to ever be back.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see. So it's probably best to get this review wrapping and all that stuff. But yeah, after let's see, Endeavor accepts that. Let's see, he's probably just as bad as All for One. Let's see, of messing with people's lives and all that stuff. He resolves to make sure that he'll just doing what he needs to do now, so he can make a path for the young heroes in the future, and tries to stay alive so he can see Shelto grow up and all that stuff. And I do like how we've got the panel of like everyone thinking like what appears to be the older versions of themselves as they walk towards their future, if you will.
The future. Cool panel shot.
Yeah. Well, of course, the main highlight, but yeah. Of course, as he then takes out All for One, which may or may not be the first death, if you will. I mean, okay, it's the death of the original body at last, but clearly All for One's got something else planned.
I mean, look, if he's still around, then it's not technically confirmed a death. So
we don't know what this bullet thing is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was it even put in his head like that?
That's what
the hell is happening? What is going on here now that I'm thinking about it? Wouldn't the bullet being inside him kind of like destroy his powers?
You think?
Who knows?
Or at least he's stolen like the capsule things with Aerie and has used them for something else.
Yeah.
But either way, let's see. But we've already made our sort of discussions and theories on what that is. The one thing I just want to comment about is the fact that we finally sort of see All for One's eye, if you will, for an extent. Or at least
it's the first time we've seen his eye, because we saw it in that flashback too.
Yeah, we've seen it in the flashback, but this is the first time we've seen his eyes in the modern day since.
Would we even see an eye at this point? Because, I mean, once the skin healed, there wouldn't be an eye under there.
That's the thing.
It'd be the eye socket, I guess.
Yeah.
From the skull.
Possibly the eye socket or something. I don't know. The anime will probably make this a bit more clear.
Sure.
I mean, the only thing that doesn't seem burned is his ear, which has somehow survived the burning.
Unless it is regenerating him.
It could be.
Yeah, it's very well possible that. Yes, this might be his regeneration.
Well, he doesn't have a regeneration, but this could be Aerie's ability rewinding time.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand why he'd be talking about how he's going to scrap this body and
get it back.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little contradictory.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to wait and see the next few chapters to get explanation. But I guess
I'd give it next chapter at the very least. Like if the body's already disintegrating, then we're probably
But although they just make the question, if this is like All for One's body being reversed back in time, and the ears and the eye are supposed to be hints towards it, what is exactly flying towards Midoriya? Now, if I had to guess, it'd be some type of special high-end Nomus.
Could be.
Could be.
I mean, it would explain why the first is not feeling settled by it. Or it could be the U.S. and their...
That's what I'm thinking, too. Like, I'm thinking it could just be the U.S. and their ships.
Yeah, but let's see. I don't think the first user would be terrified of, like, these fighter jets if that was the case.
Maybe he's not terrified of those.
But like, I'm saying that he's got a bad feeling about this.
Maybe he's just sensing that the original All for One is doing some weird thing. Possibly. Wouldn't be the first time they threw off everyone's perception of what the chapter is doing or ended.
Well, fair enough. That could be the point. Let's see. Well, at the moment, I'm thinking that Midoriya is about to be surrounded by enemies. You might think U.S. fighter jets. I guess we'll find out who's right next chapter.
Turns out it's a bunch of birds, and Deku has to fly through a bird strike.
Maybe we should turn this into a bet between Blue Star and Manga Reader.
Why would I bet anything? I'm just laying it out there that that's a possibility. I'm
Yeah.
not saying I'm right.
I don't know. Blue doesn't seem convinced about it, so
Okay,
Who doesn't
let's
seem
see.
convinced?
I'll turn this into a MangaReader versus Blue Star Saber Hertzy stream.
Hey, Blue, you have to become an Arena fan for a week if I win, and if I lose, then, you know.
I wouldn't even do that if you paid me.
Hurts.
Because I'm not a traitor like Luckychi.
I'm sorry, who now?
Yeah, I would.
Who's this Chi you speak of?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, let's see, Margarita. I'm trying to. Yeah.
Blue Star, don't you know I'm what remains?
You're what remains.
I'm the one who killed Lucky Chi. The same way I will destroy you.
Okay, Darth Extra.
Number 7.
Number 7. Isn't that? Hold on. That reminds me of a character from somewhere. I'm trying to remember who.
7. Well, I mean 007 from James Bond.
Yeah,
But
there's that.
pretty sure
Oh no,
it's
it's a different character, but it's from Vigilantes.
7.
Okay, but anyway, overall, I think that's just about everything we covered. We've discussed about, let's see, Endeavor's resolve to see the future coming and all that stuff for the future heroes. We've seen how, let's see, cool panels of him burning, let's see.
That can only mean one thing. Endeavor's death is at hand.
Yeah, it probably means that.
First casualty. I've been calling it for a while.
And this is probably one thing that we forgot to mention is how Endeavor was being a bit smart with like the fight where he's like weakening All For One's defenses before using the finishing blow, which Hearts comments is on.
Are you
Any
saying
tactician would do that.
Are you saying he's never been smart at all, Blue?
No, it's just that. No, I'm not saying that. It's just that in the previous bits of the chapters, he's allowed his rage to cloud his judgment. But even though he's still angry, he's fighting smart.
I've got the rage boost. I'm Gohan.
But yeah, we've got like the stuff with that, his resolve to help the future and all that stuff. And we end up seeing All For One coming, let's see, with his plan. Either he's done something with Eri to restore his body, or he's got some sort of secret backup thing or he's possibly transferred his soul to another body and all that stuff, but I guess it's more likely the first one with Eri. And Midoriya is about to encounter some flying objects, whether they're friend or foe remains to be seen. But I guess one last question before we wrap up.
What's up?
So, out of curiosity, you think, let's see, this chapter makes it closer and closer more than ever before that Endeavor's likely going to be the hero casualty?
I mean, I've been calling it for a while. Look, if he's taking on All For One, I already had a sense that, he's probably not going to make it out of this alive. So, remember,
two times. All Might has
using up all of his power. Well, most of his power, but
2 times All Might has fought All For One, and 2 times he has come out scathed.
That does say a lot, actually, when you put it that way.
Well, let's see. Well, to be fair, All For One was on the brink of death from his first encounter with All Might, and then let's see, in the second encounter, he was pretty much incarcerated in jail.
Right, but again, not without doing any lasting damage to All Might.
Oh yeah.
First battle weakened All Might to the point where he had to find a successor, and second battle literally drained all of the rest of One For All.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it seems like fighting all for one, you always end up losing something.
Yep.
No, let's see. No, granted, let's see if Deku will be the lucky one to survive that.
Well, it's not the all for one that we know, so
You're right.
it's Shigaraki. So
That's the thing.
yeah, it's Shigaraki. Deku won't lose anything.
So yeah. So overall, how would you rate this chapter?
For me, I'll give it an amazing. It was an amazing chapter.
I'll give it the amazing chapter.
That would be like around a 9 out of 10 in your, let's see, score, right?
I guess that could work. We're 4 out of 5. 3 stars up.
Yeah, I'd probably also give it around an 8 to 9 out of 10. Let's see, mostly just due to Endeavor's resolve, the let's see artwork with like him, let's see, and his fire moves. And the twist at the end that All for One has clearly done something with Aries' ability to probably save his life.
I mean, look, you got to okay. I know James isn't here, but you got to the point with this chapter where even he was like, "Yeah, we're getting kind of dark." I was like, "Oh, if he's saying that, then you know."
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Let's see. Yeah, it was confirmed that All for One doesn't have his regenerative abilities here, but yeah, but still. And also that we're also something is happening with Deku again. Either he's going to be attacked by a bunch of new enemies, or it might be the fighter jets like MangaReader suggested. We'll just find
I
out.
wonder where this would fit, where this would place in the volume. So I'm gonna look that up real quick, just to get an idea.
All right, hurry up. I want to wrap this up.
Isn't volume 35 out now, though?
It's gonna be out next week. So this would be the 7th chapter in the volume. The next one.
So this ended volume 35?
30. No, this would be.
Oh.
No, volume 35. That would, I'm guessing, ends at chapter 350.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So,
damn.
in other words, this chapter will just be close to the end of the next volume.
We're almost there, guys.
Let's see. So anyway, means that that whatever Koei is planning for the cliffhanger will be either chapter 359 or 360.
Could be.
But anyway, MangaReader Luckychi, thank you for joining me, and I hope you, and those who have ended up watching this or will watch this have also had a good time. Let's see. I am Blue Star Saber.
I'm MangaReader.
I'm Luckychi7.
And we are now signing off. Plus Ultra, everyone.
Plus Ultra. Oh.
And
you ruined it.
I'm surprised you two didn't try to jinx each other after that.
You didn't say the same thing I did.
Oh, okay.
Plus Ultra.
Plus Ultra. Boy, that stop the stream button sure is hard to click.
I don't know.
All right. Plus Ultra, everyone, and goodbye.
Plus Ultra.
Plus Ultra.